With a motion by Vice President Glenn, may I get a second?
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Vice President Glenn, a second by Director Wallace. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
President Request?
Yes.
Vice President Bernd
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Dr. Greg White?
Yes.
And the record showed up a 4-0 vote to come out of closed session at 6:03 p.m. There was no reportable action from closed session. We will continue on to our general session meeting now, and I will open the general session meeting with public comments. At this time, any person may address the board on any subject within the district's jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff or report on their action at a subsequent board meeting, and no action can be taken on any such item discussed unless the action has been authorized under 54954.2 Board of the Government Code. Any person may also address the board on any agenda matter at the time the matter is discussed prior to board's consideration and action. Speakers are requested to limit their comments to 5 minutes. It's now 6:04 p.m. and we open the floor for public comments.
Hearing none, Rick, I will chime in.
You have the floor, Byron. Go right ahead, sir.
Again, this is comments from a public meeting some 70 years ago. What public meeting?
You have to get close to it and then put it right in the...
Who's that?
Excuse me, folks. Could someone mute the phone for us, please? Excuse me. Excuse community. Someone has their phone. Could you mute your phone? Byron, you have the floor, sir.
Okay. The development of ethical character is an integral part of citizenship. Critical, independent thinking helps a citizen analyze accurately and fairly. We have a responsibility to encourage each individual to develop and adhere to moral, spiritual values which will make for wholesome individuals and group process. Our concerns with the attitude as well as with the individual response. A positive attitude towards learning, a desire to succeed, and an attitude of careful evaluation of new ideas and behaviors. That's essential. Thank you.
Thank you, Byron. Again, timely words. Like I said, I don't think you've never not hit the drop zone with those. Thank you for sharing with us. At this time, we open the floor. Is there anyone else? Public comments before we close public comments? It's now 6:06 p.m. We've closed public comments, and we're going down to voluntary public roll call via teleconference. Any member of the public on teleconference who wishes to identify themselves as present for this meeting may do so for the minutes of the records. We now open the floor for any voluntary public roll call.
Hello, this is John Joyce reporting for the Roseman News, the Roseman E-News, with some very good news. That article we wrote on Roseman resident John Williams and his cruiser won first place in the state Newspaper Publishers Association contest.
Outstanding. Congratulations, John.
Thanks.
Outstanding. Outstanding, sir.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else voluntary public to roll call? Okay, it's 6:07 and we're closing the voluntary roll call. We're going down to the minutes. I'm going to include M1, M2, and M3. Can I get a motion to approve the M1, which is the May 11th, 2022 regular board meeting, the M2 is the April 9th, 2022 special board meeting, and the M3 is to approve the May 9th, 2022 policy committee meeting. These are all minutes from those meetings. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved, Byron.
We have a motion by Vice President Glennon. May I get a second?
Second.
That was Wood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have a motion by Vice President Glennon. We have a second by Director Wood for the minutes, M1, M2, and M3. May I get a roll call vote, please?
President Request?
Yes.
Vice President Bernd?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Well, the motion showed that the minutes were approved, M1, M2, and M3 with a 4-0 vote. Let's go down to consent calendar. We have CC1. It's to approve the check voucher register from 5/3/2022 to 5/16/2022. May I get a motion?
So moved, Byron.
We have a motion by Vice President Glenn. May I get a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Director Wallace. May I get a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Brian Glennon,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Well, the motion showed that the consent calendar, the consent calendar was approved on a 4-0 vote. So let's go down to new business. It's MB number 1, the levy and collection of assessments for landscape and lighting assessment district number 2. And do we have our presenter online?
No, but I will be presenting on their behalf.
Okay, so with that, you go ahead. So we're going to take each one of these separately, correct? Because we have 3 different resolutions. So would you go ahead and do the presentation and update us, and then we'll address each resolution after your presentation.
Yes. Good evening. LOAD number 2 was formed pursuant to the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972. The district is divided among 51 zones with assessments involving 3,900 parcels roughly. Revenues from the assessments are utilized for ongoing operation, maintenance, and services of street light improvements. Every year, the maximum assessment rate is increased by the Consumer Price Index, but the actual assessment levies are based on actual costs incurred to maintain the street lighting improvements of the district up to the maximum assessment rate. The resolution of initiation sets the assessment procedure in action for this next fiscal year. The resolution of intention will preliminarily approve the engineer's report and set a time and place for the public hearing. After the public input on the date of the public hearing, the Board of Directors may then adopt a resolution confirming the assessments and ordering the levy of assessments in the district. And before you are the 2 resolutions that are required by the California Street and Highway Code, Section 2622. That concludes my report.
Okay, so was that my understanding is that we have to approve these resolutions to continue to collect for the assessment districts?
Correct.
Okay, so before can we get a motion, and then we can discuss if there are any questions. Can I get a motion for adoption of resolution number 2022-4? May I get a motion for that, please?
So moved, Byron.
I have a motion by Vice President Glenn. May I get a second?
Second, Director Wood.
Okay. We have a motion by Vice President Glenn and a second by Director Wood. Prior to voting, are there any questions regarding the resolution there? Okay, there are no questions there. Okay, so we're going to be voting on resolution 2022-4. It's the initiate the proceedings to levy and collection of assessments for landscape and lighting assessment district number 2 for fiscal year 2022-2023. May I get a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Brian Glennon,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Well, the record showed that resolution 2022-4 was approved by the directors with a 4-0 vote. We're down, and was that this the same information for resolution 20225, correct?
Correct.
Okay, may I get a motion by director, please?
So moved.
I have a motion by Vice President Glenn. May I get a second?
Second.
I got a second by Director Wallace. Any questions on the resolution prior to voting? Okay, now a roll call vote, please.
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Mark,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Well, the record showed that resolution number 20225 declaring its intention to levy and collect assessment for landscape and lighting district number 2 for fiscal year 22-23. I'm sorry. Yes, 22-23 was approved with a 4-0 vote. We'll go down to new business number 2. This is the adoption of resolution 2022-6, approve the designation of applicant agents resolution for non-state agencies. Okay, was that you, the presenter? Tell us what we have here, please.
So before you have a resolution to approve the designation of applicants. In order for the district to apply for funding from FEMA, they are requiring the board to approve the resolution up before you, designating individuals. On the resolution, you have the general manager, the director of administration, and the director of public works. And this resolution would have to be renewed every 3 years.
Okay, so these are just point of contact within the district, correct?
This will give us the authority to submit reimbursement requests on behalf of the district.
Okay. Okay, part of, let's get a motion on the floor for approval. Can I get a motion for resolution 20226?
So moved, Byron.
I have a motion by Vice President Glenn, and I get a second?
Second.
I got a second by Director Wallace. Prior to the vote, are there any questions from the directors regarding resolution 2022-6? Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote, please.
President Rick Webb?
Yes.
Vice President Mary Glennon?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Director Greg Wood?
Yes.
Well, we show that on resolution number 2022-6, the designation of applicant agents resolution for non-state agencies. There was a 4-0 approval. Let's go down to presentation. It's the water reclamation plant project update. We have John Houghton, Director of Public Works. John, you have the floor, sir.
I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. He's been out there.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Out of the plant the last 2 weeks, Pacific Hydrotech has been out there. During the last 2 weeks, some work that has been completed out of the plant. Pacific Hydrotech has been out there with lead and sofa, providing startup on some motorized valves. Reese and Sofa has also continued to do the loop checks on PLCs 2 and 3, as well as finish the RFI modifications. They will begin working on PLC 1 later next week. Lakefield was on site. They repaired all the damage to any of the aeration basins, as well as the emergency overflow. For the staff during the week, we changed packing in some of the headworks pumps. We finished and completed the quarterly samples for all of our monitoring wells. Citizen sandblasting has been on site. They completed the sandblasting of the old or existing clarifier, and it began coating of the new clarifier. While they were on site, they found some damage or rust occurring in the new clarifier, so we also drained that, and they will make those repairs once they finish with our clarifier. That's all I have for the wastewater reclamation.
Is well, certainly the water, starting the water through the plant, and then the seeding. That's still right in front of us, but there's only one outstanding project that needs to be done of major significance, and that is the PLCs and the SCADA, and trying to get our contractor or subcontractor that's responsible for that out there. I guess they're going to be there tomorrow, and they're going to be working through the weekend. So hopefully their little piece of the pie will be taken care of, because it's a major piece that without the SCADA we cannot operate that plant. Secondly is the air conditioning. They have come up with a resolve to that, and I will be requesting a special meeting to address this issue, because I need to present to the board what's being done as well as the cost. I was prepared to do that this evening. However, things changed. There was a change in the drawings, and it changed price, and so I need to explain that to the board. But we suffice it to say we have a vendor that's ready to go, and I don't know, Ryan, do you know what the lead time is for the AC unit now?
New AC unit, they found one on the edge.
Well, they did?
But it is a bottom down. Instead of size, so all they would have to do is raise it, then.
Okay, so it would be a relatively quick turnaround once we give the approval, and but for just telling you what it is and not agendized, I'll forego that and call a special meeting for that.
Sounds good. Are we going to be able to be there, the board of directors, when they start it up?
As it starts rolling, yes. We'll have a groundbreaking, but I think we want to get some time in it, and then we'll do an official grand opening of it. That's all I have.
Thank you, and thanks, Ryan. Thank you, John. Hey, Steve, like I always ask, you're comfortable with the progress they're making out there?
Yes, I am, and I just have to say that I have been pointed in my correspondence to the engineers and forcing their hand to force the contractors, like their contract says, as construction managers. So, and it's been working. I got to say, Tien, that has been before you a couple times, he's a bulldog, and he has been doing a great job. I'm very impressed with him. I'm glad they brought him on, because he doesn't let things slip through the cracks. He would have been here tonight, but he had to pick up his wife at the airport. Otherwise, he would have done a presentation.
Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you. Any other directors, any questions regarding the plan? Okay, I hear you. Now let's go on down to director report. I'll start with Director Glennon.
I attended the Antelope Valley Economic Development Business Summit at the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds this morning. It's the first time they've been back in several years. The 2022 Aerospace Valley Show, along with the STEM Expo, will be on October 15th and 16th. The base is opening back up. The Air Force Thunderbirds will be returning to the valley. One of the speakers, Dr. Robert Early, the economics professor, gave the detailed history, the current picture, and the future expectations for the nation, for the state, and for our valley as far as economics is concerned. I was encouraged by the contrast between the numbers for Los Angeles County and Kern County. I'm glad I'm living in Kern County as far as what the future might hold. The motivational speaker, you might have seen him in the newspaper. His name was Dalen John's presentation, I hope, caused a lot of thinking and hopefully some action. He was a motivational speaker. But it's a real good summary of housing, businesses. We were just talking about land, where everything's been in the history, where it's been in the last few years, and what he anticipates to happen in the next couple of years. But it was attended pretty well. I would say probably 250 people were there, I would say.
When they expect to happen next year?
Pretty much just stable. And maybe that we're going to continue with businesses that want people to work and people that basically are not qualified to do those jobs. So the upcoming STEM conference, they have people from Sacramento, kids from Sacramento coming here, San Diego coming here to look at the kind of jobs that are being offered here in technology.
Wow,
That's cool.
you, Byron. Director Wallace?
No, I don't have anything.
Director Wood?
Yes, I do have something I want to bring up this evening. I think Steve might be touching on this a little bit too in his presentation. But I want to revisit, if I may, what I had said at our last board meeting about the water conservation efforts in this community and how this community, Rosamond, has stepped up to the plate time and time again. The people in this community have been great and have taken water conservation extremely serious. And to kind of give you a little bit of a history, back in 2008, 2009, the state of California issued a mandate for the 2020 plan, which was to reduce water consumption 20% by the year 2020, and that we were going to base that off of the usage of what we were using in 2008, 2009. The actual mandate went into effect in November 2009, to be exact. This community, by the year 2013, had achieved that 2020 mandate 7 years early. In fact, we've even gone above that. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have the exact numbers, but from my memory, we were about 23% that we had cut back from our 2008-2009 consumption. And then the state of California, because we were facing another drought, kind of pulled the rug out from under us and issued a new baseline. And in 2014, they said, well, we need you to cut another 20%, but we need you to cut it from your 2013 usage. Again, this community stepped up to the plate, and they met that challenge. And, you know, you could go back and look at our numbers, and anywhere, they're going to fall somewhere in between 38% and about 44% that this community has cut back its water usage from what we were using back in 2008, 2009. Now, we are facing another drought, continuing drought, not another one, but the continuing drought. And the state of California is getting ready to issue more mandatory water restrictions. And I'm sure it's probably going to be writing a new baseline and painting the entire state with a broad brush and asking people to step up and to reduce even further. I think this is a wrong approach. And the reason I think this is a wrong approach is because Rosamond isn't alone. There are other communities up and down through this state that have stepped up to the plate and have cut their water usage drastically. And the fact is that when you go and look on the other side of the mountain in other communities there, their landscapes are just as lush. They have big, beautiful lawns, all kinds of trees and shrubs and everything else. And they did not get those landscapes by reducing their water use by 25, 30, or 40% over the last 15 years. And what I would like to see, I mean, according to the article I read, that in March of 21, water use was up in the state of California by 19%. I can tell you right now, water use was gone up 19% in this community. And so when you go and you look at the real water use and the real conservation efforts, here's the rub for me, is that let's say you take City X. Just, I'm not going to name a city, but just a city on the other side of the hill down there that's got the lush green lawns and everything else. They received the same mandate in 2008, 2009 of 2020. Come 2013, come 2014, they're sitting there saying, okay, you know what? Maybe they hadn't reduced their water use at all, but they're thinking, hey, we got another 6-7 years until 2020. We still got time. Or maybe they had reduced their water use a little bit, maybe 4 or 5%, maybe 10%. But they still think, hey, you know what? We got time. And then when they got the new baseline, then it was like, okay, you'd only cut your water use, let's say 5%, and come 2013, now you've got to cut it back another 20% because of the new mandate from the state. How many of these communities have actually met that additional 20%? I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that every single water agency throughout the state of California can produce the numbers of their water use year by year by year. They can show where they have reduced their water or where they haven't. I'm hoping that the state will not broad brush and punish communities like ours that have gone far and above what's needed to do their fair share to reduce water use. I'm hoping that the state can go in there and ask water agencies throughout up and down the state to produce the numbers. Those that have not done their fair share and have not complied with the previous mandates, those are the ones the state needs to come down on and make them get in line. And then take the communities like Roseman and other communities like us throughout the state that can show with our numbers that we have met the mandates, we have done what was asked of us, and to say, okay, you are exempt from any further restrictions because you've already met the mark. I don't know if this has a snowball's chance in the Sahara of happening, but at least, I think it's an approach that I'm hoping that this agency and other agencies like us that have really sacrificed, because I don't want to put any more burden on our customers. They've already, paid the price. They've already made the sacrifices. And, but does that mean that there isn't areas in our community where we can't find, more water savings? Yes, there is. And our water committee is working on that now to look for areas in the community where we can tighten up a little bit. But to put it on the backs of our ratepayers that have gone far beyond what was asked of them, I think is not the right approach. And I'm hoping that the state will take a different look at this and get the people that have not complied in the past and get them in compliance, and then praise and reward the communities that have been in compliance. And that's all I have for my report.
Hey, Greg, I agree with you on that. I think the other part we also have to look at is that if you look at our conservation efforts, we're conserving for them to use the surplus water. I mean, not surplus water, but the extra water. So thank you for that there. And maybe someone's here. Only thing I'd have to say this evening, folks, is that we've all heard about the tragedies that have happened around us in the other states. The shooting in New York, the shooting in Texas, and I just keep thinking how much closer all these things are getting to us. Be prayerful, and just remember, folks, that none of this is simple, but I would hope that we all are mindful we should give up our folks those other states there. So with that, let's go on down to a legal counsel side. John Comer, you have anything for us?
Nothing to report tonight.
All right, thanks, sir. General Manager's updates, Chief Perez.
Yes, your board assisted by adopting a resolution several months ago to prevent this from moving forward, and your voice was heard for the first time, being because it's going to return, probably. The effort to limit revenues for local government services setback for 2024. The proponents of initiative number 21-0042A1, which would limit revenues of local government services, have announced they will not meet the deadline to qualify for the November 2022 ballot, but they will pursue and try to bring it back in 2024. One of the good things about what the board did and the power of your voice is what you did is you joined another 25 special districts in trying to beat this back, to show others that this was not the right thing to do. The power of your voice is great when it comes together in a coalition that CSDA put together, and my hat's off to the board for adopting that resolution to prevent that from going forward. The second thing is Assembly Bill 2421 Rubio. It's a water bill, unlicensed cannabis cultivation. This bill made it through the suspense file and is moving forward. The bill is another attempt to address the issue of illegal water diversion by cannabis growing operations. It provides additional legal authority for local authorities to prosecute crimes related to water pollution and water theft relating to unpermitted cannabis cultivation. The bill was amended on April 20th to reflect notification requirements for the city attorney or the county council when an action is taking place. This is so apropos because I have seen some of the comments in our social media. They allege that we are in some way aiding and abetting the marijuana growers. We have numbers. We've watched this. We're not water police. We're not equipped to chase them down, follow them down, get in shootouts, do whatever the case may be. But there are others out there that are. And rest assured, as a former narcotics officer, this doesn't please me at all. But here's the rub. You shut it down, they're going to steal the water. If you would look back in some of the Antelope Valley Press articles, you'll see where they broke hydrants, broke into water facilities, wherever they could to steal the water. All of those infrastructure breakages cost money, cost time for employees when they could be addressing other services. And I want you to know, I want the community to know that we're not taking this lightly. We see what you see, but I have the numbers also. I can see that it's rising or beginning to rise again, and that's the beginning, hopefully, of some action to prevent that. So with that, just rest assured, we don't like it any more than you do. And the numbers basically revealed last year total water consumption from the bulk sales was 12 acre feet. Now, a lot of that is very legitimate water users. Water it down, pardon the pun, but we know that some of it is illicit use. So just rest assured, we're not sitting back. We're in conjunction with others and watching and acting upon these issues.
thank you, Steve. And like I said, I'm glad you updated the community on that, because not only our community, but communities as a whole has that challenge. Let's go on down to the Director of Administration. Was that?
I have nothing else to report.
Okay, we have, now we have John Holland, Director of Public Works.
Yeah, since our last meeting, the Public Works Department has completed their monthly meeting. They've repaired 13 service lines. We've done our annual inspection of our water tanks, repaired 2 of the water tanks. One of them has bullet holes in it, the other one that just had rust repairs. And we've been doing weed abatement around the tanks. And that's all I have.
I might touch on the bullet holes. We've got reports of some of the antennas being shot at, and we're probably going to have to go look at our tanks again and see if they shot any of those. There's none. Great. That's good news.
Well, you know, I saw that article under that thing on the news where they had shot that one somewhere in the Midwest. The water was, you know, that elevated tank of water was, you know, leaking out of it. So water is a resource. Anyway, with that said, can I get a motion for, thank you, John. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Let me just thought of one thing. This could be for a future agenda item. You know how the one tank on the freeway there had the Roseman logo and all that? When I come home at night and I drive up and I see our tank with the light up there, if there was something up there, it would be visible at night to the community. I don't know what we would paint up there. It would be just RCSD. But when I drive up in housing development there at night, it stands out as clear as can be. That tank has got good light above it. And I don't know if we could put RCSD up there and spray it or what. Just a thought.
Well, something to consider. We'll put it on for a future agenda item. Maybe Steve, your staff, you guys can come back with suggestions for us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, and now can I get a motion for an adjournment?
So moved, Byron.
We have a motion by Vice President Glitter. Can I get a second?
Second, Greg.
We have a second by Director Wood. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Brenda Lennon,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallen,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Well, the records show that there was a 4-0 vote for adjournment at 6:41 p.m. Good night, everyone, and stay well.
Good night.
Good night.
I hear you.